What's up, everybody? Today I got a interesting story. This one is going to be more about overcoming some the challenges in your life. Okay, so sometimes we kind of dismiss or we don't think too much on our mindsets. As you know, that a lot of just in aircraft maintenance, how a lot of our brethren are not with us, and it's not about that so much, but we see it, right? We see, we have loved ones, gone too early, too soon, and I've never been the type to have a taken my life type of deal, and I believe it's my mindset as I grew up is not, it wasn't really a thing for me. Never thought about it. Just never thought about it. And I just saw the world in a different perspective. And I think that's what we need to have is that, having a strong mindset is not so much about, my parents, just, it's not about the parents you had. It's not, it's not the influences you had, but it's about the perspective, and also showing gratefulness, right? Some things like that, going to church, being grateful, thinking about other people that you've helped, people that's helped you, especially, right? The little things, as saying just something so small. I can say that I'm grateful that my girlfriend, for example, made me dinner. She didn't have to, it wasn't planned, but she thought about me. But thinking about that, being grateful for some of the people who assisted you, right? Even though it might be just their job. But let's say age, people who bring your power cards, brought your power card in a timely manner, and you're grateful for him. Somebody who gave you a wrench when you were in a tight spot and you didn't want to go get it, right? You didn't want to unwind yourself from, the depths of the aircraft to go get a wrench. Those are the small things that, we have to be mindful of. And I used to think that this is, woo woo or woo saw stuff. And, I always had, but as I've always had business leaders, I've always had coaches, went to, programs, coaching courses, whether it was sales, marketing, or self improvement. It always started like a whole week, a whole block of just the mindset, building your mindset, having a better mental, capacity. Because I've noticed that even when people come to my A&P course, they're like, "Oh, I don't know anything. No, I can't understand this." And I used to be like that too in some subjects, like electrical stuff. So that I was like, no, I don't. It doesn't make sense. I don't know this. I don't want to learn this, and this is too much, right? When you actually relax and allow, and it's so weird because I just remember this one experience with one of my aerospace engineer instructors, and he was like explaining to me the same thing over and over. But then one day I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna open up and just allow it to flow in, and just listen. And I wasn't trying so hard to block it, but just to unwind some of the things that he's talking about, asking him productive questions, like, and really allowing him not to move forward until a certain concept was explained to me. And I learned just by doing that. And I was like, man, what else could I do doing this? And I started going off the handles like, oh, I can go to school. I can do all these things because I kind of just learned to open up a bit. But I was like, that's not productive. I need to focus on one thing. I need to focus on this business, and that's it. That's all. because the faster I can do that, the quicker that I can get to freedom. But I digress. But it's just that so I transfer that energy to learning my skills in business. And that's why I said, like, doing this videos for everybody, doing this podcast, and I have to learn. I was like, I can do this. I can pick this up, right? And there's things I need to work on making these videos. It's a little more entertaining. I'm a little boring, soft-spoken. I'm doing it at midnight. However, I'm working on my speech. I want to work on being more confident when I on this mic and in front of this camera. Being better prepared. These are the things that I'm allowing myself that I can do it. Just figure out a way. So when you work on your mindset, it's not so much about having stuff roll off your shoulders. It's also showing being gratitude and being a little humble in a way, like I explained to you, that I can learn this stuff, and allowing yourself to learn instead of trying to just block it and saying that you can't, that you don't know, I'll never learn it. I have this problem, or I have this hindrance, or I have dyslexia, or I have ADD. Yeah, I'm sure you do. However, if you keep making those excuses, it's going to be an excuse, and you're going to always be in a dead end. You're just going to make your life more difficult, right? So allow yourself to learn, okay? And I've always been fascinated because I'm a huge introvert, and in the beginning, I would not speak in front of people. But how can I help people? How can I tell people? How can I guide people? Or how can I communicate when I'm shy and I'm not willing to overcome my discomforts in public speaking, or my discomforts with speaking to another human? Because once you get to know me, I'm cool, right? But however, that's not going to help somebody who is a complete stranger to me. Or when I need to talk to a commander and to speak with him about helping his troops, or reaching out to a director of maintenance and how I can help his organization. I can't do that if I'm shy, if I don't speak, right? And I always remember this one saying is, you can't eat with a closed mouth. And that goes for a lot of things, right? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. And I had to overcome those things. Because if I'm saying that I'm going to help you out with, or help my community out, or people like me to get the certification, to promote this, because, how else would I get the word out, right? Yeah, there's going to be referrals and that can do the job, but, it's not just a 1 month deal where you just talk for 1 month. I have to continue this consistently and be comfortable with it, communicate well, and so that way you can share, or you're receiving the information, right? Because just because I said it doesn't mean you don't understand it. And if you don't understand it, then I just wasted my breath, right? So how can I be a better, effective communicator, right? And you might take more than one time. It might take you 7 times. There's a study saying that, for you to remember something is going to take 7 times for me to tell you how to do something, right? If you don't pick it up quickly, right? Or give you instructions, right? Or creating a habit. So it takes a while, and you got to be patient, okay? Like I said before, I used to take these, because I wanted to improve. And one of the things that I dismissed a lot was the mindset part. I thought I had a strong mindset. I had a bunch of challenges in my life, and even thinking about it now, it's part of my story, and I enjoy it to be part of my story. Some of the things that I overcame, the way I grew up, in a single wide trailer park. You can call me trailer trash, because it's true. I grew up in that, and my family was super poor, and I had to share a small bedroom with my siblings, two other siblings, right? I didn't have my own bed until, I mean, 18, 18 years old. When I moved out, 17, 18, when I had my own bedroom or my own bed. And yeah, I didn't have my own bedroom until I got into the military. Even when I got into the military, I had to share, a room. But it wasn't until I got my first active duty station that, I had my own room. So, we didn't have a lot. And I wasn't exposed to it. I was living under a rock, you know? And some of these things that I didn't learn, I had to overcome those things. And they say public speaking is the biggest fear. And I just wasn't going to allow myself to that be a hindrance, right? We talk about, oh, go talk to that girl. You live short, you have a short life. And it's true. But how many guys will be willing to go talk to the girl they're always staring at, or this super hot girl? You got to overcome those fears, and then when you overcome those fears and you start building the confidence, it's just gonna mix with everything else you do in your life, right? Making the phone calls to a CEO, and doing the cold calling to whatever that you're asking to do, right? Whatever it is that you're trying to sell cookies, you can go and talk to anybody. And when you can communicate that with confidence, then people are going to have confidence in you because you have that conviction. You have the confidence. They start trusting you, right? Because if you're scared and you're talking about something, it's hard. It's going to be hard for you to build trust. So even the language that you have with yourself, this is something that I speak with with a couple of friends, is like, there's certain language that not to say, and they say, oh, this is a big problem, but some of the things that, life does have obstacles. It does have challenges. I would say that, last year, 2024, the whole year, towards the end of 23 and all of 2024 was probably the most was the most challenging year of my life. And I really had to work on my mindset. I had to work on it, right? And one of the biggest things, some of the things that helped me is, one, having perspective. And what I was really going through, even though it was tough, but I've been in tough situations, and that adversity that I dealt with before has prepped me for what it is right now, and I was just in a phase where boo-hoo, cry for me, like, now I'm just like, I'm going to use this as a part of my story. This is just part of the journey. And 99.99% of entrepreneurs go through this. So strap your boots on. It's part of your story. You'll get to tell the story one day, that where you went and now where you are. So, I had to go, started journaling what's working, what's working and not working, right? Figure out I have to start from ground zero and start from there. So that's why, I was offline for the longest time, just trying to gather my thoughts, trying to, I realized like the importance of a mindset, because I took longer to come back to get on track than I should have been. And I've been avoiding it. So you don't want to be doing this when shit hits the fan. You want to start working on that all the time. So when things do take a shit, you already, well prepared and ready to go. and start taking action right away. You can be depressed, but when you're taking actions in a positive way, guess what? It's gonna feel good because you're achieving things, you're doing things towards the goals, and you're not gonna have time to think about your depression. Do something, take action, and that's gonna go a long way. One of the things that I really enjoy watching and listening to, that I actually probably need to listen to a little more when it comes to different perspectives and how self-talk is super important, and is Deion Sanders. The best self-talk that he has, and you can tell that he talks to himself great. How he imagines himself speaking in front of an audience. You can see him as he's a head coach now, that and a lot more wisdom, and he does it intentionally too. He works on this stuff, the quotes that he's gonna say to the media and stuff. I find him super interesting, and just the self-talk that he has, and he's not there to please anybody. He doesn't need you, right? And I think that's awesome. Another inspiration I would say is Trump, the things that he's going through, attempt assassinations, and he's all these court hearings that he has to go to, being convicted of felonies, assassination attempts, being was a character assassination by the media, like the whole large part of the government going after him, and still went through that adversity, shrugged it off. And I'm sure it wasn't easy for him, but he has a mission and he kept to it. He has a strong mindset, and just I feel inspired by that. And that just that is not built by avoiding challenges. That is built through going through adversity, going through pain, going through difficult times. And a lot of people who don't have a strong mindset won't understand that, because you're going to go through a lot of pain. He's gone through a lot of pain, not just the last 5, 10 years, but when you're going against heavyweights in real estate in New York, yeah, you're going to experience a lot of adversity, a lot of bad deals, a lot of people crossing you, or people lying to you, and developers. He went through a lot. And I'm sure all those challenges have built him up to be the person who he is today. So I aspire to take on things that being comfortable when it's uncomfortable, right? Doing these videos, going in public speaking, getting in front of people, that'll build your mindset, overcome whatever insecurities you might have. So don't dismiss the importance of a mindset. Seek out people, be surrounded by people who will motivate, empower you, right? Who's gonna give you the positive experiences that you need, right? So when I say positive experiences, it just doesn't mean kumbaya and always enjoyable. No, you want the struggle. You want to sometimes, I'm going to use weightlifting, for example, right? There's this technique that in the beginning I thought it was weird, but there will be guys who let's say they're bench pressing or incline pressing 405 pounds, but the guy's never done it before, right? Well, and sometimes, he has a spotter, but he attempts to just drop that weight down, and sometimes he gets to a point where he can't handle it, right? And he has to lift it off. That struggle is good for you to build muscle, and it's creating the muscles. Maybe it's not ready yet, but it's creating your mindset, your muscles, your body to one day prepare to handle 400 pounds, 405 on your chest and press it up. Okay, so it's not going to come, overnight. It's going to take months, maybe a year. And I like making making analogies with the gym because it's the same thing. When you're in the gym, things take forever. You're gonna take, like I was telling somebody, a new guy. He asked me compliments about my body of, he thinks that I was on steroids, or not that as a compliment, but it was just a conversation we were having. That if I was a big boy, growing up, and I wasn't. I was 147 pounds going into the military, going in, and 160 pounds when I left basic training, and 167 going into Korea in my third year. So I wasn't a big kid, 6 feet, 167. I was a skinny guy. I was strong, but I was skinny. And it took me from 2008 all the way to 2015 to get around 200 pounds. And all that time just working, nothing working, right? And it was kind of funny enough how I got to 220 is that I learned that actually resting, hitting it heavy, kind of mixing it up, but resting was super important. So, when you go to Korea, at least in the Air Force, you get to go on or have an opportunity to take 30 months of leave, or 30 days of leave, I'm sorry. And with that, I was able to, I didn't work out. I probably worked out once or twice a week, but I let my body rest. I just let it completely rest. And yeah, I was pretty rough coming back, getting back into shape, getting back to the weights I was lifting. But within a month or two, I accelerated, right? I might have felt a little stagnant going into these years. But then once I started taking breaks, and maybe it doesn't have to be 30 days, but taking a 2-week break, 30-day break, you can make some significant gains. And that's where I made the most gains. Because I remember I was 180, then I jumped to 190 in a couple of months. That was a huge gain. It's because you're used to it when you first get to working out, but you kind of get stagnant after a few months, right? You try to do different things, and that doesn't work out. But then I took another break. I think it was, this time was my, what was it? I think I was going back to the States. Yeah, I was going back to the States, and I so busy trying to get everything ready, get going, and boom, going right into working out again. After, I want to say it was 2 weeks. I took a 2-week break, and then I gained muscle, and especially my legs. That's one thing, is that I had trouble getting weight, getting some thickness around my calves and my thighs, and I finally did. So resting sometimes is great, and getting back into it. But that's what I'm talking about. You sometimes gotta be patient. Just gotta be patient, right? Study up, learn, build up the skill. Just like I had to learn the hard way. It was kind of by accident, but then I tested it and gained more muscle. So now it's actually proven. And actually, if you're trying to gain big muscle, especially if you've been out, you've been doing it for a while, 3 times a week, heavy, and taking a lot of rest is pretty good for a good amount of time. So, but those are the skills you learn. Same thing in business. Same thing, if you're trying to learn something new on an aircraft. If you're trying to go be a crew chief on an aircraft and then you go be an electrician, there's going to be a learning curve, right? So be grateful of that journey. Be happy to go on a journey. Things are going to suck learning. But once you get over that, boom, you start becoming awesome. And then you start building on top of that. Okay. And that's the mindset you're going to have, is always continuing to grow. That's super important. Having a mindset to only continue to grow and allow yourself to learn. Allow yourself to make mistakes, because you're going to make it. Your past, mistakes is not going to define your future. And is there going to be people who are going to hold that against you? Yeah. Some of it sticks. Some of the people forget. But don't feel like you can always overcome that, that reputation. I was like, oh yeah, I remember you used to suck and now you're the best, crew chief, but even when you make mistakes and you put in the effort to learn, and that even though it's going to happen, people are going to forgive you. People are like, I know you tried. Yeah, this has happened to me. People, will relate to you because it happens, right? Only the assholes are going to be, which, if you have great work ethic, a lot of people are not going to mess with you. They're not going to doubt you. You're going to make mistakes and you're going to do dumb things. It'll happen. It's part of life. But if it's a lot more forgiving, if you're putting in the effort that you want to learn, that you're in there getting your hands dirty, and people are going to work with you a little more and forgive you a little more, So having that mindset of always learning is going to go a long way with you. But let's see, what did I also put? Yeah. Do not avoid trying to get away from challenges. Do not try to avoid or miss the opportunity to take on challenges, because you're going to learn. You're going to learn about yourself. Going into those places where it's uncomfortable is where you learn a lot. And it's when you overcome it and you're super happy, it's going to be awesome. So take the opportunity, be grateful for, if you're watching this, be grateful. Yes, life sucks sometimes, but be grateful. Taking the lessons that you're learning is a lesson, right? Be grateful that you made that mistake, because now you can go correct it and become better, right? Because you're going to come across that a lot. So have the mindset of always trying to become better, put the effort in. It's not all, and be humble and be grateful. That's a strong mindset, is having gratitude, because sometimes our egos get the best of us, or you want to prove somebody wrong, or we always want to be, especially mechanics, you always want to be negative, and we forget to be grateful for our situation. We have a great situation. Yeah. Even if you're in the military and shit hits the fan and shit's blowing up around us, but you also got to be grateful that you have an opportunity to do your little part in something greater than yourself. Being a part of protecting America, being a part of the mission that the U.S. has, right? So that's how I see it. And it's something that I've always had as a kid. And I was like, no matter what, I'll figure something out. We'll figure this crap out. And it always comes through. So a big hack, I'll give this bonus tip. A big hack is surround yourself with other people who have strong mindsets too. Because there's that old saying, I can tell who you are with the 5 people you hang around with. I don't even need to get to know you, but you hang around with 5 people that you hang around with, you're drinking beers with, and I get to meet them. I already know who you are. So surround yourself with good people, because people are going to have that judgment too. Because if you're around, lazy people, you're around losers, basically, you're going to be that 5th loser. So protect your reputation, protect your mind and your peace. Always try to improve. But that's it for today. Thanks for listening. If you're trying to get your A&P, we have a free resource online, and just reach out to me, comment or message me, A&P. I'll get you what you need, and it's all free. So there's free lectures, free testing, free checklist, and a free session with me where I can guide you in what you need to do next. I've already done 2 of them today. I do it weekly. Just schedule. If you want to schedule a link, just schedule A&P, and I'll send it to you. Okay, so that way you can get some free mentorship from me on how to get started. What's some ways, economical ways for you to get started on your A&P. I know the Army's getting hit hard with the aviation certifications, and they're only gonna have $1,000 to mess with. So if anybody has information about that, hit me up. But here I'm willing to help you out and guide you, and I enjoy doing it. This is my favorite part. And if you're looking to opportunities, hit me up, and let's jump on a call and see how I can help you. All right. So thanks for giving me your time, and have a good night. Peace.